Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Sumato. I am your superintendent, and this is our weekly update. First, I just want to focus on really being thankful for the entire community. And that's our teachers, our administrators, our support staff, our families and students. The patience and the resilience that you've really demonstrated during this time is remarkable. And it's really a true testament to the Kenton community. I want to also remind everybody the planning that has gone into this. We've always kept the two major objectives at the forefront. And that first objective is safety for our students, our families, and our staff has to come first. Now, it doesn't mean that instruction is not at the forefront, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that during a pandemic, we have to look at the safety of our students, as we always do, even during normal times in school. The second is our second objective, making sure that we are offering the best instructional model possible for our students and for learning during this pandemic. So just to recap, we're looking forward to welcoming back all of our teachers and staff next week in preparation for the first day of school. And the first day of school in that remote learning model is Tuesday, September 8th. And to continue this recap, we announced last Friday that all students will begin with remote instruction on September 8th. We will begin carefully phasing in a hybrid schedule for in-person instruction in 5-week increments, starting with UPK, K, Grade 1, and self-contained classes on October 13th. Now, folks, that's you'll see up on the screen right now, that's that one-page graphic that you're getting so used to. And remember the strength of this model. The strength of this model is that we are phasing in all aspects during this pandemic. Not only are we ensuring that we're meeting Objective 1 for the safety of our students, our families, and our staff, but we're also making sure that the instructional model is aligned and that we're phasing that in appropriately. And our teachers have been working hard, ladies and gentlemen, very hard. Our administrators have been working very hard. And it will contribute, that hard work will contribute and pay off in this phase-in model. But this phase-in model also gives us the opportunity to have some preparation time for bringing students to in-person instruction. And remember, the best phase that we are hopeful for right now is that hybrid phase. The guidance that is dictated by our Department of Health, our Center for Disease Control, our governor's office, we have all these guidelines that we're following. And in order to follow social distancing, all the safety that we need to follow, all of the PPE that we need to implement, the best thing that we could be hopeful for only right now we're talking about is hybrid. Of course, the question has come up, will you ever get to fully 100% in person? Yes, absolutely, that is the goal. That's what we're always working towards. I'm just also being realistic with all of our families, with all of our staff that are watching these videos, that right now, hybrid is our best bet that we are hoping for because of where we currently are in this pandemic. As we go through the phases, I mentioned last week that we're going to have a lot more informational sessions. So next week we will be announcing future parent forums in the same format that we had last week, future teacher forums in the same format that we had last week, and also future support staff forums. It's very important that as we progress through this model, that we continue those lines of communication. We appreciate your patience during those forums, and we appreciate the feedback. Remember, folks, I always enjoy the feedback. It keeps our minds sharp. It keeps us open to all the perspectives that are in our communities. And thank you to those that are continuing to remain positive, even providing that critical feedback in a positive way. We really do appreciate that. So one of the challenges that we're facing are with devices. And we know that in a remote model that we need to be able to provide that access for families. And the district we are looking to provide Chromebooks and iPads to as many families as possible for the online and remote learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, full transparency. We are not a full one-to-one district. Now, Thanks to our Board of Education, last week at our board meeting, last Thursday evening, they approved the purchase of more technology. And that's going to get us to that point, closer to that point of becoming a full one-to-one district. It's going to be a little time for those devices to come in. So we're asking people that we have an online sign-up, that families to request a device can complete the form at ktufsd.org/devices. And please do that by this Sunday in order to secure a device for the first day of school. And next week, we're going to be making the announcements for each individual school, how you will pick up devices, how you will get materials. Next week's going to be a big week for communication here in Kenton, folks. All of the schools are going to be individually communicating with their families about different pickup times for materials, about different pickup times for devices, about the structure moving forward. So next week, we were going to have those forums next week. We decided to hold off because schools are going to be sending out so much information. We don't want to overwhelm families with the amount of information that's coming. Folks, we know this is a lot. This is an incredible amount of information. So please just bear with us next week. Please stay tuned day by day from your school buildings. There will be all of that information about pickups and devices and everything coming out next week. But please, when it comes to the devices, families will receive follow-up information on those devices. And please make sure that you're reading who should prioritize if they need a device right now. And that's just that partnership that we're talking about. We know this is hard, ladies and gentlemen, but please, we know that we are short right now of being a one-to-one district. For all of those that have the abilities in their homes right now, we ask you to hold off in requesting a device and make sure that you read just how to prioritize who should be requesting a device now. The goal is we are going to put a device in everyone's hand, hopefully shortly. Now, another thing too, if you're watching this video and you know people that don't have internet access, please have them call 716-871-2050. Once again, that's 716-871-2050. And that's for our families that may be struggling with internet access. And we're going to try and find some solutions for those families as well. We do have limited solutions, so please, if you know of somebody that is in need, please give them that number. Another challenge to the transition to remote learning is overcoming the barriers to participation in synchronous remote instruction. We are working collaboratively with all of our faculty to address the obstacles faced by parents and guardians who work or have multiple children. There are no easy solutions, but it is something we are working on to address, and we need to understand that not all families will be able to access synchronous instruction at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, our teachers are working very, very hard, and our teachers need tons more training. And we're going to be providing that training to teachers as we go through this progression of moving back to hybrid. It's one of the advantages also to continue giving PD to our staff. And we're also learning from our staff what the needs are electronically, what the needs are in the schools instructionally. So there's going to be more to come. Instruction is not going to look like on October 8th as it does on September 8th. It just won't. We're telling our staff, this is going to be a challenge on staff, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have to get to know students remotely, spend that time, those September startup times, learning children, spending some of that great get-to-know-you time with children. So they're not going to be diving right into the instructional model full out from day one. They're going to ease students into it. They're going to ease families into it. They, as staff, need to understand how to do that themselves, and they do a fantastic job. But you got to be patient too. They're learning as they're doing. So please remember that partnership that exists, and we thank you for your patience as we continue to move through. As I was stating before, back to school information will come out more next week from individual schools, and it will be very school specific. Schools are rapidly finalizing essential back to school information such as teacher assignments, schedules, and supply lists. Now, let me just hit on this for one moment because this has been a question that has come out a lot lately. People say, so Mr. Samato, when are we finding out about the A and B? The A and B should be finalized by middle of next week. But remember, folks, A and B will not apply right now because everyone is in remote. So students will be attending their remote instruction Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. All students. We need to know whether we are A group or B group based on the fact of when we go back to hybrid, so that students and families know which day that they will be attending. That will be in Infinite Campus and finalized hopefully by middle of next week, but definitely next week. Another topic. You heard on Monday, August 24th, Governor Cuomo announced his approval for low and medium risk fall sports to begin practicing starting on Monday, September 21st, which allows us to phase in all of this essential education as well. So let's drill down to sports a little bit. Folks, we're not going to get too deep into sports in this update because we need to really evaluate this more as a district. We're going to look at all the aspects of it. Now, I'll tell you the positives. The positives, we want to get our children, these are outdoor sports. So getting kids to be able to socially distant and practice and do some practicing outdoors will be a great thing if we can figure it out and if we can ensure safety. So the same standard that comes for education is going to come for these athletics when we're making those final decisions. It is not easy. So please bear with us as we're looking at all the ins and outs of what we can do and can't do. I'm not going to lie to you today. I'm going to be very clear and transparent. There's some things that I'm going to say yes to as your superintendent, and there are some things that I'm going to say no to because I do not like the way that we're able to meet that objective number one. I do understand how important it is for the students, and that is the goal. It is absolutely the goal. It's important to us as adults. We want to get back to some semblance of normalcy. The governor's announcement does give us some flexibility to kind of roll into a phased-in approach, just like we're going through in Kenton, but a lot more planning needs to be done before I can sit in front of you and say, yes, we are absolutely moving forward. So please, thank you for your patience. Stay tuned. We will be making a much deeper announcement by our next weekly connection about athletics. Food service is another area that I wanted to hit on today. So food service, please pay very close attention to this, ladies and gentlemen, because it is much different than it was in the spring. So beginning the first week of school, our food service department will begin offering students weekly meal kits. Meals will be offered once a week for all the days of the week with reheating instructions. So we will have those pickup points while we're in a remote model. But here's the difference. Last year in the spring, we were told by the federal government that meals were going to be free of charge for everybody, and it's not that way now this fall. It's based on federal funding for free and reduced lunch, and meal kits are available only to currently enrolled students. And that's a contrast to where we were in the spring. So that will have to be monitored. For students at our CEP schools, CEP stands for Community Eligibility Provision Schools. Those are Franklin Elementary, Franklin Middle, Hoover Elementary, Hoover Middle, and Holmes Elementary. Meals will be fully funded by the federal government. That comes in with CEP funding. That's not a district decision. It's not a local decision. It's something that's how districts all across this area, all around this area, this is how that is determined for free and reduced lunch. That's also why it's so important to fill out those forms. So those free and reduced applications that we ask students to fill out and families to fill out every year, families who have not applied for free or reduced meals should submit a family meal application to determine if they qualify. This can be found at ktufsd.org/food service. An application is sent home to families also in September, and they'll be available at the pickup sites. But those applications must be done by October 19th. The sooner the better on those. That would be one of those things that I would call families a do now if you have not filled those out, and you could go to the website, print that off, and actually get it done. But pickup will take place Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that's a little bit of a difference from last year as well. And these are the pickup sites: Holmes, Hoover, and Franklin. And parents will pick up all the students' meals at one location. So those are the pickup sites, once again, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The sites are Holmes, Hoover, and Franklin. Meal ordering and pickup procedures are being developed and will be posted at ktufsd.org/back-to-school. All lowercase, back, the number 2, school. All one word, all lowercase. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the real big topics that I wanted to make sure that I was hitting today on the Weekly Connection. We know that there is going to be so much with instruction. I also just want to make sure that families realize there's a lot of discussion about synchronous instruction and asynchronous instruction. We're working with staff. Staff need a lot more training on this. Our staff will be the first to admit, since this has been thrown at us in March, they've been doing a fantastic job with learning as they're doing, kind of building the plane as they're flying it, if you will. We're going to keep on providing professional development to our teaching staff, to our support staff as we go through the year. And we're looking at, and we're going to keep on evaluating the best ways for parents to be able, and students really, to be able to get work in, complete the work, because we know, especially in a multiple student household, especially in a household where families are working, and how hard it is on you as a family. We're going to be looking at multiple ways for students to be getting in assignments, for students to be completing the assignments, also for how we're going to be taking attendance. All of this is in the works. All of this is going to be announced in future Weekly Connections. And all we can do is plead with you for your patience. You've been a wonderful community through all of this. It's, you know, the hardest thing through this pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that there's so much stuff that we're doing on the fly. For me, I'm more of an A-type personality. I like things structured. I like things planned out. And I think the biggest thing that we all struggle with is that the planning is ever changing. The structure is ever changing. And we really plead with you for your patience in understanding everything that we're facing, and we know that we're facing it together. And we're so appreciative for the support, for all of the community work that has gone into this. When you see community members, teachers, administrators that have been involved in the planning for schools, really just, you know, give them a nice head nod. I know it's weird to say during COVID, but give them a nice head nod and just and tell them, you know, great job. And we all know that we need to do better. We all know that we need to keep working. And we're going to keep on doing that because the kids are absolutely first. Our staff always put our children first, and our staff are really working hard to make sure that they're going to be offering you the best, meeting that objective number 2, the best instructional model possible. Community, remember, we are Kenton strong, we are Kenton proud, and together we will be Kenton moving forward. Thank you very much for your attention this evening. Please have a safe weekend, and you'll hear tons more next week from individual schools as we continue through this process together. Thank you.